Imagine, co- Imagine coming home to a delicious meal, only to watch your spouse throw it in the trash while making eye contact. This isn't a horror movie, it's Caleb's actual life. In today's story, we dive deep into a marriage where food becomes a weapon of psychological warfare. Is it a weird prank, or is something much darker going on? Let's get into the details of why one man decided that a sandwich was the final straw in his marriage. Caleb sat on the edge of the blue couch and felt like his head was going to explode. The room was quiet, but it was the kind of quiet that felt loud, like a balloon that was about to pop. Across from him sat Sarah, the woman he had married back when things were simple and didn't involve weird power moves over food. Sarah was looking at her phone, her face totally blank, as if she hadn't just spent the last hour acting like a total supervillain. To anyone else, it was just a dinner. To Caleb, it was the final boss battle of a marriage that had turned into a very long, very annoying prank. The trouble didn't start with a big fight or a dark secret. It started with a sandwich. A few months ago, Caleb had come home after a long day of work, starving and ready to eat literally anything. He found Sarah in the kitchen, humming a song and putting the finishing touches on a massive, beautiful hoagie. It had everything: 3 kinds of meat, melty cheese, and that special spicy mayo he loved. Caleb reached for it, his mouth watering, but Sarah pulled it away with a grin that didn't reach her eyes. She told him it wasn't for him. She said she had made it for herself, even though she usually hated spicy mayo. Caleb watched in total shock as Sarah took one tiny bite, chewed it slowly, and then walked over to the trash can. With a casual flick of her wrist, she let the sandwich fall into the bin. She didn't even look sad about it. She just turned to him and asked what he wanted to do for dinner, as if she hadn't just murdered a masterpiece. Caleb stood there, blinking, wondering if he had just entered an alternate dimension where people wasted perfectly good food for fun. He didn't know then that this was just the beginning of a very weird, very mean game. As the weeks went by, the food thing became a regular part of their lives. Sarah would wait until Caleb was at his hungriest point of the day to start her performance. She would bake a tray of gooey chocolate chip cookies, letting the smell fill every corner of the house. When Caleb followed his nose to the kitchen, Sarah would be standing there, holding a warm cookie. She would tell him he couldn't have any because they were for a work bake sale that didn't exist. Then, she would wait for him to leave the room, and he would hear the distinct thud of the cookies hitting the bottom of the trash bag. Caleb tried to talk to her about it, but Sarah was a pro at making him feel like he was the crazy one. When he asked why she kept throwing away stuff he wanted to eat, she would just laugh. She told him he was being obsessed and dramatic. She said she just changed her mind about being hungry or that the food tasted off. But Caleb wasn't dumb. He started noticing a pattern. She only threw away the food he liked. If it was something he hated, like kale salad or plain tofu, she would eat every single bite or save the leftovers for later. The psychological warfare moved from the kitchen to the living room. Caleb would be sitting down to watch a game, and Sarah would walk in with a bowl of hot wings. She would sit right next to him, making sure the smell of buffalo sauce was right under his nose. She would offer him one, and just as he reached out, she would pull the bowl back and say, "Actually, I think these are too spicy for you, babe." Then, 5 minutes later, the wings would be in the garbage, buried under coffee grounds so he couldn't even try to rescue them. It was a weird kind of torture that made Caleb feel like a dog being teased with a bone. Caleb started to wonder if he was losing his mind. He talked to his best friend Marcus about it over a beer. Marcus listened with wide eyes as Caleb described the great pizza incident of Tuesday night. Sarah had ordered a large pepperoni pizza, took one slice, licked the cheese off it, and then dumped the entire box into the outside bin while it was still steaming. Marcus told him that it sounded like a weird power trip. He said that maybe Sarah felt like she didn't have control over her own life, so she was taking it out on Caleb's stomach. But knowing the reason didn't make the hunger go away. Caleb started sneaking snacks like a criminal. He kept a secret stash of beef jerky and granola bars in his gym bag, eating them in his car so Sarah wouldn't see. He felt pathetic. He was a grown man hiding food from his wife because he was tired of watching his favorite meals get executed in front of him. The trust in the relationship was melting faster than the ice cream Sarah had poured down the sink the night before while staring him dead in the eye. One night, the drama reached a boiling point. Caleb had spent all day thinking about a specific type of lasagna. He decided to take a stand and make it himself. He bought the best noodles, the fancy ricotta, and spent 3 hours simmering the sauce. He was proud of it. As he pulled the bubbling tray out of the oven, Sarah walked in. She didn't say it looked good. She didn't say thank you. She just looked at it with a weird, sharp smile and said, "Oh, I thought we were going out tonight. I already made a reservation." Caleb told her he didn't care about a reservation. He wanted the lasagna he had just spent his whole afternoon making. Sarah didn't argue. She just picked up the salt shaker and started dumping it. She didn't stop until the top of the lasagna was white like a snow-covered mountain. "Oops," she said, her voice sounding like a cartoon villain. "My hand slipped. I guess it's ruined now. Let's go get sushi." Caleb didn't move. He just looked at the ruined meal and realized that his wife didn't just have a weird habit. She actually enjoyed making him miserable. That was the moment Caleb realized he couldn't do this anymore. It wasn't just about the food. It was about the fact that the person who was supposed to love him most in the world was treating him like a toy. He looked at Sarah, who was already grabbing her purse, and he didn't see his wife. He saw a stranger who liked to play mind games. He told her he wasn't going to sushi. He told her he wasn't going anywhere with her ever again. Sarah tried to laugh it off, calling him sensitive, but the look on Caleb's face finally made her go quiet. The next few days were a blur of cold shoulders and awkward silences. Caleb stayed in the guest room, locking the door every time he went to sleep. He started looking for apartments on his lunch break. He felt a weird mix of sadness and relief. He was losing his marriage, but he was also looking forward to a world where he could eat a sandwich in peace without someone throwing it in the trash just to see him frown. He realized that a relationship without respect is just a very long, very bad dinner party. When he finally told Sarah he wanted a divorce, she didn't cry. She didn't even seem surprised. She just asked him if he was sure he wanted to throw everything away over some leftovers. Caleb told her it was never about the leftovers. It was about the fact that she thought his feelings were a joke. He packed his bags and left that night, stopping at a 24-hour diner on the way to his new place. He ordered the biggest burger on the menu, and when the waitress brought it to him, he sat there for a long time, just looking at it. He took a bite. It was the best thing he had ever tasted, not because the food was amazing, but because no one was there to take it away from him. He realized that being alone was a lot better than being with someone who wanted to watch him starve. As he finished his meal, he felt a weight lift off his shoulders. The drama was over. The game was finished. And for the first time in a long time, Caleb was full. Maya finally saw the truth. Her best friend was not a friend at all, but a person who used her like a paper towel. She told Sarah they were done, but the mess was just beginning to spill over into her life with Jack.